Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League. We're into game number 2 of our best of 3, second best of 3 of the day. If you guys missed the first one, then definitely go back and check that out, as DTG with a somewhat arduous victory over Vision Valor and victory. I'll have to be looking for that a little bit later on, but so will LoLPro, who have one game left to close out their series versus Curse Academy. Curse Academy, after a little bit of a struggle in that last game, both mid lane, Jax Mrs. Brand, not really working out against Jackie's Gragas, and then, of course, top lane as well, as Hanser kind of ran Rux over.
Fun fact, I now know what VVV stands for.
Well, there you go. Also a great online League of Legends community.
A great online, yeah, one of my favorite. Now, LoLPro last game, they actually looked kind of weak at the start. We had some issues going on in the bot lane. A lot of kills going towards Curse Academy. Then all of a sudden, Hanser just descended from the top lane after killing Rux a couple times and just devoured Curse Academy. So the question is, are we going to see Mundo go towards LoLPro? The answer is hell no.
No way, man.
No way.
Hanser, he's not getting Shyvana. He's not getting Mundo. That guy, you can see the Nasus ban as well. Nobody's letting that guy on anything remotely tanky. I mean, there's still stuff available. Dude, if Hanser goes for Olaf right now, I'm going to be pretty impressed. We'll have to see what Rux can do about that. I think the first person who ever played top lane Mundo way back in the hinterland of Season 3 was Quas. Yeah, it was Quas. All right. Cool. He brought that up there, and then everybody kind of follows suit. I think it was actually shown in the Southeast Asian League of Legends scene first, but one of the important things to notice is that in game number 2, that top lane matchup can actually matter a lot more than just kind of the wet noodle fight that we see a lot of the time.
Yeah, that wet noodle fight, when you do see it evolve from, all right, we're going to passively just kind of farm versus each other versus one guy starts to get kills, all of a sudden if that guy can snowball like a Mundo, can just get into the fight and take people out, it is terrifying, it is devastating. Kind of like a Riven getting farmed, or maybe even, let's say, a Vladimir when it happens. He will come from the top lane, just start team fighting and winning team fights almost on his own. We do see Gragas and Jinx being picked up for LoLPro. Two, standard picks, relatively safe. Jinx doesn't have escape options, but her damage is insane. It has a lot of spell damage. And Gragas, he is, that one mid laner that can deal with most squishy AP mids with threat of a burst.
And so Jackie's going to go back on his comfort pick on the Gragas, but the big interesting thing right now is that they've taken away, Curse Academy rather, has taken away Olaf from Hanser, so they're really hurting his champion pool, taking away Mundo, Olaf, Nasus, Shyvana. What else is there left for him in the top lane?
I mean, for the standard choices of what we see all the time, most of the good tops have been banned out. Like, there's a Riven available, but Riven versus Mundo, that is a scary, scary lane for the Riven if she falls at all behind.
Yeah, and Hanser doesn't really play Riven all that much, so it'll be interesting to see what he adds. They're looking at a Tryndamere. If they pick up Tryndamere, I think that's a denial away from Fabi, but at the same time, I don't think I've seen Hanser play Tryndamere either, so if he does that, then that's kind of an additional to his champion pool just for these NACL Season 1 playoffs.
I mean, the nice thing about Tryndamere versus Mundo is that Tryndamere won't die to a dive. The issue is that Tryndamere will also be at low HP if Mundo dives onto him and uses that ultimate, while Mundo will just be like gleefully walking away with that ultimate ticking. So it's a scary pick. It is locked in.
All right.
And I do want to see how they lane this. I have not seen Tryndamere versus Mundo for quite some time, so going to be definitely a bit of an unknown matchup for, I think, a lot of people. Possibly Rux.
This is where we see LOD play Tryndamere and LoLPro run the no AD carry strategy versus Curse Academy in a somewhat ironic fashion, but probably we'll see that up in the top lane onto Hanser. An interesting pick versus the Dr. Mundo. I mean, there's Elise out there. Like, why don't we see an Elise this game?
Elise, I mean, she is a good champion, but in top lane, it's mana. Mana is such a big problem for her. So sometimes Mundo, does die to her relatively easily. She can really put on the pain. But if she runs out of mana, just the gas stops. She just stops doing anything. Mundo just has no mana, will dominate the lane and just keep taking control. We do have some final lock-ins, though. Going to be Lucian Karma for that bot lane. And now Sona for the support and Jarvan in the jungle. I really, really like this team comp from Curse Academy just because I love seeing Karma as a support.
And for the first time this NACL playoffs, we're going to see a Lucian down in the bottom lane on our Lord and Savior and possibly President Fabi, as well as the support Karma. Hyorin, he's that big engaged Leona in game number 1, but coming into 2, he's going to take a little bit of a more CC poke-heavy role there with that Karma support.
Yeah, I like the Karma. It helps set up quite a few things. For example, you land her Q, her slow, that sets up a cleaver from Mundo. That sets up an axe from One Bad Brad. Man, Curse Academy are just throwing weapons left and right.
All right, they got axes, cleavers, bombs, light itself. They're throwing just about everything, and I'll have to see how that's. There's no kitchen sinks out there. I want like housekeeper Mundo so they can throw everything and the kitchen sink at them.
Just a random object every time. A vase.
It'd be so
kitchen
exciting.
sink.
I
That
just
would be awesome.
I just like sit in base and see how many different things I could throw out there. But they're going to be throwing it at a Tryndamere top lane, and once again, we're going to see a Jarvan in the jungle. Jackie's back in the mid lane on Gragas, and then, of course, the duo bottom lane there for LoLPro in Jinx and Sona. That's going to do it for our champion lineups. We're going to head to a quick commercial break during Champion Select, but not before shouting out our sponsors. They are Loot Crate for $13.37 a month. So you get a crate full of loot. So there's no smoke and mirrors. It is literally a loot crate. So go check it out. It's really cool. It helps support League of Legends and us as well. So you can go ahead and head over to that link by clicking the Loot Crate right down below the screen. You can also check out LOL Chat. It's a League of Legends chat. I feel like the names are working out really well here. You get a good idea of exactly what it is. If you can't be there around a computer to use the League of Legends chat client, you can use it on any one of your mobile devices. You can do that by clicking the LOL Chat app right down below the stream.
And of course, we've got Fi. You know, Fi is a fantastic content creator, makes some videos for League of Legends that will pump up your elo, pump up your skill, and show you the lighter side of competitive play. So you should go check them out at the Fi LOL. And of course, we've got one more sponsor in Phoenix Peripherals. I mean, amazing design, amazing peripherals.
Impeccable even, some might say.
You know, they've got keyboards. I believe they have a mouse. We actually kind of ran down the store a bit, and they're sold out, so they're restocking. But you guys should still check out the website, check out what they have in store, because their product line, it's something to behold.
And it also helps support us. So do want to thank also our kind of mystery sponsor in the fans. Every single one of you, if you've tuned into NACL eSports at any point in time during the season, then you've helped us out a ton. We love having you here watching us because you're excited, we're excited, and we're also heading to a commercial break. We'll be right back with game number 2 in this best of 3 series as Curse Academy look to bring things back against LoLPro as the NACL Season 1 playoffs continue right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the North American Challenger League playoffs. I am wrapping them here with Studio, and we are into our second game in the second best of 3 of the night as Curse Academy look to bring things back versus LoLPro. Now, game number 1, what do you think that Curse Academy really needs to take away from that as they enter here into game number 2, Studio?
Don't let Mundo kill their entire team, and so far, I think they're successful at it, unless Rux really betrays his team.
Turns it around. It's a 6v4. There's no Mordekaiser here, so that's not necessarily possible. But what is possible is Rux now taking charge of that Dr. Mundo in the top lane. We'll see if he can do to Haunter what Haunter did to him in game number 1.
And what we saw game number 1, defensive spread from both sides. No one really wants to go for an aggressive invade. You know, you can poke out, toss an axe like One Bad Bread has just done, but going into a brush, it's scary. There could be an enemy team there. They could kill you. Giving up first blood, never a fun thing to do, especially before minions spawn.
And that's something that the Season 4 patch was designed to do, lowering the gold that you get from early kills and reducing the early respawn timers just to mitigate the effectiveness of the Season 3 early invades. So you probably won't see too many invades nowadays, but once again, the continual axe spam.
Yeah, that axe spam. I mean, they're going to constantly just poke out those brushes. You can see both sides. We're just tossing into that banana brush around the red. Now, with both sides not really getting an invade off, the question is going to be, can One Bad Brad or Heaven Time really make a play? Heaven Time playing that Jarvan could gank as early as level 2. However, what lane does he gank? Jack Smith will get his escape most likely at level 2 with that satchel charge. Top lane is going to be a Munda, which can be killed early on. So you might expect Heaven Time to roam top early to possibly roam bottom to pick up Hyorin. But it's going to be a difficult gank no matter what. One Bad Brad, kind of the same deal. There are a lot of lanes he could gank, but do you really want to go after Tryndamere, Gragas, or possibly roam into a warded bot lane?
That's a little bit of a late invade onto the red. Nothing quite scouting them out just yet. One Bad Brad will take down the red buff from Heaven Time. So both junglers, I mean, they're going to have a little bit of a rough time as far as ganks are concerned, but buffs should actually be even across the board. You can see the ward placed at the opposing red buff there by Lopali, just allowing Heaven Time the knowledge, hey, your red buff's getting counter jungled, so you should probably head over and take that one away from Curse Academy.
And Heaven Time going for the proper response. You know your red buff is gone, go take their red buff. Goes across the river trying to pick up a little bit more experience, a little bit more gold for himself, and stay even in the buff count with one bad Brad. Looks like he will be successful unless he dies to red on his own. Top lane, Hanser did something cool. He killed golems, and he's going to try and roam top lane to catch that big minion wave. So he's going to try and get a little bit more experience, stay as close as he can to the optimal level. The thing is, LoLPro or Curse Academy responded well to this by pushing in hard, and minions are already being
But
denied.
if you look mid lane, Jacksmus could be in a little bit of trouble. Heaventime is waiting off there on the side now. Jacksmus is only level 2. Let's see what he skilled up. Actually, as his second skill did get that satchel charge, so we'll be able to bounce himself back to the turret and should be able to avoid this gank. Is pushing up though, so kind of wishing Heaventime stays, and he does cancel the recall, so we'll stay there in the middle lane.
Oh, the body slam comes out. This could be it.
Oh, there's the satchel charge immediately, bouncing it back there. Still flashes the knockup. So Summoner Spell blown, but a lot of damage put back onto Heaventime.
Yeah, Heaventime taking a tower shot, takes a bomb, takes an auto attack, and of course empowered by Ziggs' passive. That's a lot of DPS coming out, but the flash is down. If Jacksmus pushes out one more time, we might see initiation come out. Thing is, Jackie's just so low on HP. Ziggs has that constant harass. And alright, Jackie does have a lot of sustain with his potions, with his flask. But if he keeps taking bombs to the face, those bouncing bombs do build up quite quickly, and Ziggs known as just that aggressive mid laner for spamming attacks. Once he gets control, it's scary.
Top lane, the 3-on-1 there, making Hanser pretty sad. Top turret will fall. First turret of the game goes to Curse Academy, so already, okay, fine.
All right. In a sec.
That's so troll, man. 4 health on that turret. Still going to stay alive, but the next push will result in that death. Jacksmus throws down the satchel charge. Really afraid there of being engaged, but both turrets on either side lane will fall. This time around, it's actually Curse Academy taking the first one, so already we're seeing a little bit of a difference there from game number 1.
Yeah, both sides going for the heavy push. It looks like Curse Academy hasn't stopped top lane, though. They're going to keep pressuring Hanser. You know, Tryndamere doesn't really have a good defense versus this wall. If you look over at LoLPro, they're actually rotating towards Dragon. So going to be the top inner turret taking some damage, possibly going down, compared to the Dragon being secured, unless Rux can stop this.
Yeah, Dragon, actually, Lopali taking almost half of his health there. Just will actually Summoner heal for that. You know, I'm not sure that was necessarily necessary. Dragon goes down, and that will be first Dragon and so it's Dragon and its turret. So overall gold advantage going to LoLPro, but can they keep that going their way? One bad Brad chain and axes on Jackie.
Jackie uses the body slam, does have that long cooldown. He's out of mana. That top turret takes a lot of damage. Hanser trying to do what he can, but takes a bit of poke in response. I mean, that inner turret's at about half HP, so it's going to be, I'd say, survivable for the next wave. But still, it's a lot of DPS taken. If Rux ends up camping top lane at all, just sitting there in the Mundo way, it will go down very quickly. And actually, they do force it back. Hanser and Jackie. This
is actually kind of reminiscent of one of the games we saw towards the end of NACL Super Week. Earlier on this week, and it was that you could actually go for just a sustained side lane push, and usually, you know, it's going to be effective. We've seen, you know, crazy base races. I think we had 2 5-minute inhibitors taken earlier on in the week, but probably will see just a sustained siege here. It's the 6-minute mark, Studio, and we're already sieging second tier turrets.
They know that there's just nothing LoLPro can do about this. You know, Sona's got some damage, some sustain, but it's not going to be enough to secure anything. Jackie going forward, though. Jacksmus does satchel charge away.
Oh, and there's the engage there. Jackie getting in the thick of things. Jacksmus not going to have a good time. Out of mana, out of health, and we will go away. Jackie? I'm not sure he necessarily meant to chug right there. There's a body slam. Barrel continues. Will fall. I kind of expected Jacksmus to keep running, but there's Hanser actually with a kill on Hyorin as well. So at 2-0, the push from LoLPro secures themselves 2 kills, possibly the top lane turret as well.
I mean, Curse Academy, they try to get out of there. Fabi did something awesome. He actually used his dash to block a body slam from Jackie, which meant the auto attack wasn't in range for him. He could not finish off Jacksmus earlier on in the fight, but he drank up his beer. He got good and drunk, and as a result could chase down Ziggs, and Hyorin off on his own. Karma is actually very escapable for a support, but, you know, no flash, no boots, no real options that could have gotten him out of that situation. Flash was available, but would have been a waste because he still would have been right next to Jackie. Now 1.3k in lead of Curse. They're equal in turrets. The top inner turret has taken a bunch of damage, but with that Dragon, with those kills, Hanser is back in the game. If you look at the CS difference between him and Rux, he was just way far behind. And now, if they can keep control, if Jackie starts roaming and starts killing Ziggs in the mid lane, this will be huge for LoLPro.
Blue buff will get given over to Jackie, and at least for the time being, the game will somewhat reset as both teams looking to just, get back into their respective lanes, start farming that back up. I think Blue buff actually there on to Jaximus as well, so it's going to be, no, he actually didn't take it, so that's going to be one bad Brad. Looking for the respawn just yet. Duo's back up top. It's 2v1. Still here for LoLPro, still trying to push down that upper turret.
Could be going for another turret trade. The problem is, once again, Hunter can't do anything on his own bot lane. That's why
trying to dive this.
Heaven Time is in the area. Now going to be a 2v2 top lane. One bad Brad got the blue buff. We've seen this before. When Olaf gets a blue buff, it's because you want him to go up for aggressive ganks. And because he'll have that reduced cooldown in the mana spam, he can just toss out the undertow axes like crazy.
Huh. Now, one bad Brad came top lane, and I thought he was either looking to counter a dive attempt or at least provide some assistance there, but instead we'll just wind up giving the blue buff over to Jaximus. Nothing too complicated about that. Pressure, though, in the bottom lane, you can see that's actually where LoPalia is actually going now, and with the recall there from LOD, should expect him to head bottom as well.
Yeah, bot lane for the Tryndamere Haunter, he just cannot survive a 2v1. Don't know if he can actually lane versus Mundo just because he does have that experience lead. So Haunter right now, he is in a much worse situation compared to last game. Last game, he could safely lane, kill his lane opponent. Great position to be in. This game, I mean, Mundo's going to have a lot of pressure, have a lot of damage, and has just enough experience. Not necessarily gold, but experience to lane against Haunter.
Is Dr. Mundo pick or ban so far? I mean, like, either way, it seems like he goes top lane, he stays top lane, and he goes where he pleases after that.
Yeah, he's one of those guys like, all right, you can deal with a Mundo, you can kill him.
Oh, with the bait down in the bottom lane, as LoPalia not going to have a good time. Rue connects, flash out though, stays alive for now, and it's actually Hyorin who takes the majority of that damage to LOD. He does not have that super mega death rocket just yet. Still waiting for level 6. The zap lands onto Fabi, and it's LoPalia who gets a little bit of revenge there. Haunter in the top lane takes a cleaver, spins away. Kill there on Fabi, though. Really strong advantage now for LoLPro in the bottom lane. They could put a lot of pressure down there onto the second tier turret. I mean, Olaf's there. One bad Brad has some axes, but shouldn't see too much to come off of just Fabi's death.
I mean, LoLPro, that was a great play bot lane. LOD just constantly going for the auto attack, constantly scaring off Hyorin, who's going to have the CC, going to have the control of that fight, and supports are usually the squishier target. So they went for that initial chase Curse Academy, and they could not secure the kill, and as a result, LOD had that pow-pow damage. Jaximus in the mid lane, though, he is just going to get destroyed. The super mega death rocket not even having a chance to land.
Yeah, there's only so much that it takes to kill a Ziggs, and apparently that was one all too many. But even still, Jaximus will fall. The carry is not really surviving all that long, and you can see a bunch of zeros in the kill column there as it's 4-0 in favor of LoLPro. A turret advantage still, though, in favor of Curse Academy, so they have something going for them. They will need to put the pressure on the bottom lane if they want to secure their takedown of all 3 outer turrets for LoLPro.
We saw this last game, though. LoLPro was behind. However, that Mundo goodness showed up eventually. And that Mundo goodness still on the blue side, but this time for Curse Academy. And if Curse Academy do apply that Mundo, if Rux is not enough of a position to survive a lot of the bursts from LoLPro, guess what? We can see Mundo once again carry and sustain fights. However, there is a lot of percentage damage from Jarvan. There's a lot of control from Jinx, and even from Tryndamere with his mocking shout. Dragon being attempted by Curse Academy, though. Can they secure it?
There's actually going to be one bad Brad getting in there. It's going to secure that dragon. Curse Academy take it down, and that is going to be a dragon for both teams. So dragon's a really good indication of the way that the game is swinging. You can see first dragon there for LoLPro. They put a lot of control down there in that bottom lane early. We're able to take the turret. But now it's actually Curse Academy who are not only going to take that dragon, but also possibly a bottom turret as well.
And with that, they'll actually take the gold lead, however slight. Only 200 in favor of Curse Academy, but still showing that despite the fact that they're behind by 4 kills, they do have the CS advantage in lane. Lots of better numbers when it comes to the matchups in terms of minions killed, and more importantly, they just have objective control. 3 turrets to 1 now. As eventually LoLPro will be able to push. Jinx is very good at shutting towers down, but they don't have necessarily a good poke right now, and their wave clear is limited to Jackie more or less.
Mid lane, Jaximus is just going to wave clear this out. Something that Jackie actually does very well too. The only problem is that Jacksmith is doing it defensively, whereas Jackie is killing the lane and then roaming to other lanes, and that's exactly how he got his first kill. Now Rux shoves the wave, and Mundo goes back when he pleases, and at least for right now, should be to pick up either second tier boots or probably completing that. Yeah, there's Sunfire Cape, so already League of Sunfire Capes, and you look at Tryndamere, he's actually going for a Blade of the Ruined King first, which is actually a perfect item to counter out Mundo.
Yeah, Mundo, of course, with his high HP builds, that percentage damage, even if it's only current health, will help shred through him, and makes his ultimate, for example, a little bit riskier to use because there's some extra percentage damage coming on top of that. Now, looking towards the mid lane, you can see LoLPro have grouped up a bit. They have Heaven Time and LOH grouped up, looking for possibly a gank, possibly just some ward coverage. You can see that Heaven Time's fallen behind a bit, only 32 CS and a level behind One Bad Brad. And this is something that's been happening with Jarvan lately. He just isn't that effective in actually killing minions in the jungle. So he can gank, he can be effective, he can still use Cataclysm, but his overall experience and gold will be a bit low.
Rockets clear out the wave there. Axe backwards will not catch on to Jackie. So at least for the time being, once again, both teams disengaging. We're only 13 minutes in the game, but already all three turrets taken down for Curse Academy. The takedown of that second tier turret top lane is especially key because that means that the wave could theoretically push very, very far in, which should make that lane safer for Haunter to stay up there and farm. And I like this Tryndamere top lane for a couple of reasons. A, the Blade of the Ruined King is going to make him really strong versus Dr. Mundo. B, it's pretty cool because we've seen most of these games go pretty late, which means that the more late game you run, the stronger you are overall at the end when all is said and done. So Haunter, he's starting to come back in CS, but he has pushed the lane very far, and that means that he won't be able to get any CS right now because, hey, he's in a 1v2, and you can see One Bad Brad looking to loop around. Does have the engage there. Oh, Haunter, please. He'll spin away. Can he avoid this axe to come out? Undertow dodged away. With the ghost down, it's still a cleaver. Haunter just cannot run. You have two perma-slows. And, yeah, this is not going to be very fun to watch. Spins over the wall. Does have Jackie there. Ignites down. Will he be able to heal up in time? Waits until the last second. Will go down.
Unfortunately for Haunter, he'd used a heal already, and as a result, could not heal in time. Did not have any rage as well. It is very quickly blown up. For a second, it looked like Curse Academy might have rotated towards Baron, but it hasn't even spawned yet. However, Haunter just falling to the one thing Tryndamere is very weak against, the 1 HP Ignite with his ult up. Ultimate used by Jackie, hits 2, I believe. Doesn't deal a whole lot of damage, though. He doesn't have that much AP yet. Going for that Athene's build, only has that Fiendish Codex for really any sort of AP besides his Doran's rings. A Siege coming out now from Curse Academy. They know that A, Haunter is not there and does not have ultimate when he does show up. And B, no Jackie ult. They're just going to push down this turret.
Yeah, so much poke down below. There's actually a Mega Inferno Bomb as well. Turret continuing to fall. Rux actually getting in there, trying to tank the turret up. Goes on to Jackie, though, or Fabi, rather. Curse Academy backs on off for now. There's actually the body slam forward. Jackie could have gotten so punished for that, but disengaged. Curse Academy backing off.
Jackie was looking for that burst onto Hyorin. Had he landed that body slam, could have followed up with an ignite and auto attack in the barrel. Should have probably picked up that kill. But like you said, they could have turned around and been like, hey, wait, you're a low HP Gragas near us. Let's blow you up. Now, Curse Academy, they've got some more momentum again. They've got this Ziggs comp where Jacksmith, as he gets more and more damage, finishes his Rabadon's Death Cap, which I actually would expect to be his next purchase. Possibly could go for Azonius for a defense against Haunter. But eventually they'll have a team where Rux needs to be destroyed somehow or distracted or kited. But that gives a chance for Jackson to play very safely in the backline, spam out those bombs, toss out that Hextech minefield to protect himself. And with the kite of Olaf's axes, with the kite of Hyorin and his constant slows, it's going to be very difficult for Jackson to be caught, and that could be the carrying potential for Curse Academy.
Well, it's difficult for Jacksmith to be caught. Haunter, he's getting caught a little bit too easily. You can see he does have that one death, but more importantly, he's been kind of shut down. But now with a Blade of the Ruined King, not only is he going to be able to escape more easily, but he also has some offensive options against Rux, who, while he does have a lot of armor and a lot of damage mitigation there in the form of the block passive from the Doran shield, as well as the percentage damage reduction from those Ninja Tabby, it's going to be rough to damage that guy, even with that Blade of the Ruined King on Haunter.
It's like, alright, you do percentage damage, but on Mundo, I'll reduce that percentage damage by more than half, as he does have just over 100 armor, which is that like 50% mitigation point. Now, Haunter, he wants to farm, but the problem is, let's say he freezes the lane top, and he's right outside his inhibitor turret getting a lot of gold. What's going to happen is Rux can then roam to the mid lane, pick up more objectives, roam towards Dragon, which does spawn at about 1 second, and then his team loses more control, and he gets a little bit of a gold, but the team still falls behind much more than what he's getting out of top lane. And that's the issue Hanser's running into. He can't freeze the lane. If he pushes the lane, he risks dying. He risks missing a lot of farm when Rux comes to defend the lane. And as a result, you know, he will show up, try and do something, but he's not really getting a whole lot done right now.
Action heating up around Dragon as poke just there from both teams. Axes, zaps, basically everything. There's actually even a crazy in cages. One bad Brad gets jumped on. It's going to take a lot of damage. Mega Inferno Bomb only hitting there onto Time. That culling in there onto LOD. Tries to get over the wall. Will be able to flash away, but no, the counter flash there by Fabi. Heal and Barrier both going to try to keep him alive. There's Ardent Blaze and not so ardent pursuit there by Fabi as LOD survives. And after all of those ultimate use, damages damaged and all but ending. The team fight will continue for just a little bit. Hanser, though, up in the top lane, having some trouble with double golems.
I mean, crazy initiation from One Bad Brad. He just ran in there face first and said, I'm an Olaf, try and kill me now. They tossed out the Sona ultimate, he just ulted that. They tossed out the Jarvan ultimate, he flashed out of the pit. And in the end, they used so much on One Bad Brad that even though Curse Academy didn't pick up any kills, LoLPro could not defend against the Dragon. LOD was too low. Sona had already used her ultimate. There was no good escape for LoLPro. There was no good engage for LoLPro, and they just had to back on out, give up an objective.
Yeah, and LOD was at risk of falling to our new sub emote, the culling, but did manage to flash over the wall. But now with that disengage, it's now going to be Curse Academy, who on that dragon were able to take it down. That's actually 2 dragons for themselves. So first one went to LoLPro, and then Curse Academy have really dominated that pit for the last 2 respawns. They're down in kills, but you can see all those global objectives really starting to stack up. They're up a turret, up 2 dragons, and now will be with a slight gold advantage, but nothing too significant just yet.
I mean, we've seen Ezreal be able to deal with Olafs before. LOD playing Jinx, though. Unfortunately, if Olaf gets to her, I mean, Jinx has nothing. She will just sit there, take undertows to the face, take relentless pursuits, and just all the damage that Olaf can dish out. And there's no escape for LOD when Flash is down. So now that One Bad Brad has blown his own Flash, but also blown LOD's. You know, Jinx is so susceptible to Olaf, who is that anti-carry torpedo. Now, Curse Academy, they're not picking up kills. They're 1-4, but they have the gold advantage, however slight. But they really have that map control. You can tell their movement is what's controlling LoLPro. LoLPro is trying to respond to where Rux is. They're trying to respond to where Jax misses farming, trying to make sure he doesn't just get free farm and push in the wave and damage their turrets. So LoLPro, what they're trying to do to defend against this, and it's really not working out, is staying grouped up. But you can see with the ward coverage at Curse Academy, they know where LoLPro is, they know where they're heading for the most part. And it's really hard for LoLPro to really get any sort of surprise, possibly get a pick off with that Gragas explosive cast.
This is Hanser time right now. He found Rux up in the top lane, said, hey, I'm going to split bottom, push that wave all the way in, and now there's a huge wave top lane for him to farm, and we'll probably go through a team fight mid and then head up to top lane thereafter. But in the meantime, it will be Rux down bottom lane, doesn't have teleport, so he's stuck down there. If LoLPro force a fight right now, could go in their favor, especially with Hanser in the wings, but Rux recognizes that, heads back to mid for what could be a pretty strong siege here of this turret for Curse Academy.
I mean, Jaximus, he's a Ziggs with blue buff. He's going to spam like crazy. There's nothing they can do to defend against that constant bomb spam except dodge and pray. Turret now being pressured. No minions nearby, so Rux will take a bit of damage, but a bit is all he'll take, being that Mundo and having that ultimate still available. You know, this is going to be the heavy pressure from Curse Academy. Can you dodge bouncing bombs? Can you dodge undertows? Can you dodge piercing lights? There's so many things that LoLPro has to dodge, and just any sort of poke that lands is dangerous.
Hanser was trying to come in from the side, but he's like, I don't really want to spin in onto all that. Anytime you run an offensive top lane, you have to get your tank stats from somewhere else. You also apparently have to get your big wraiths from somewhere else, as Fabi is going to gatekeep the wraith away from Hanser. Takes it away from himself. Push continues here for Curse Academy.
I mean, if Jackie can land some barrels, maybe he can go ahead and scare them off. In comes the cast, doesn't really knock anybody forward. One Bad Brad still attacking the turret.
And the turret will fall. No need for minions there. Super Mega Inferno Death Chocolatey Uber Bomb goes down. The Crescendo hits on Hyorin. Stunning out the support going to be effective to some extent. Super Mega Death Rocket slightly more effective. Will take out one bad Brad. Flash out there from Jackson as Haunter's going to spin in. Grabs the last hit. 300 gold for him, but now it's Jackie. Gonna figure out why on earth Mundo is such a good choice. Hyorin's going to get spun on. One more auto attack, all it takes, but so good at kiting.
Spin to win. Spin to win. Rapid, can he get the spin?
I don't think he really wants to chase onto Rux, though, just yet. Hyorin, a great support pick, not just for his synergy in lane with Fabi, but also because he almost single-handedly makes Haunter's life not all that great to live.
I mean, a Tryndamere tethered up without the ultimate available, that is a sad, sad life to be living at that moment. However, Haunter does still have his ultimate, can go ahead and farm back up. And, you know, if Tryndamere can go ahead and isolate targets, we saw this last time. If Curse Academy break up their team comp, if all of a sudden it's Jack Smith off to the side trying to run away from Gragas, if it is one bad Brad stuck in the Rage Cage without his flash available, just trying to survive against the onslaught of Jinx and Jarvan, what's going to happen? Well, if the team full of good duelist champions fights a team full of slightly good duelist champions, but still weaker, you know, the duelists are going to win. And it's really up to Curse Academy. They got to stay focused. They got to stay up grouped together to really use that Ziggs kiting to really make sure that Karma, if she lands her slow, if she lands her tether, it's not just protecting herself, but protecting Ziggs, protecting Lucian in the back line.
Another reason the Karma pick really works out very well is that the Mantrid Inspire Defiance forms kind of a double Talisman of Ascension effect in that Shirelia's just gives you AoE move speed for your team, and anytime you're moving very quickly away from a Tryndamere, he gets pretty sad and he wishes his Mocking Shout had a few more chickens in the coop.
Unfortunately, this isn't full-on Team Go-Kart because the Jace acceleration gate isn't there, but that movement speed will be huge for kiting if they do get into a fight, which could happen. Jackie looking for a barrel. LOH does not have flash, but does have the Crescendo available. However, the blue buff will be going towards Curse Academy, and that's going to be all for the fight, as neither side really getting a good chance to engage there. And you're right, with that Karma Shield, if they can really kite, that's going to be the big thing, to make sure that Haunter, they don't have to necessarily, you know, run away from him and just, you know, make sure Tryndamere gets focused down right away. They can just delay him and slow him down and walk away from him, even through Mocking Shout. And if they just kind of waste his time, even if he's the last guy alive in a fight, Tryndamere on his own is very, very easily controlled.
Now it does look like with that pickaxe in his inventory, Haunter might be going for the wave clear option of a Tiamat and the Ravenous Hydra instead of the more classic build that is the Static Shiv after that's a Blade of the Ruined King. We're going to hit a quick little pause here and try to figure out what's going on, get everybody back and reconnected into the game. But for the time being, at least, a couple of things to talk about. Kind of the ticking clock that is farming up a Tryndamere. When you have so many defensive options against a Tryndamere, really, does that late game really matter as much?
I mean, it's up to Curse Academy to use those defensive options, because we saw it last fight. Tryndamere, if he gets hit by a Mundo Cleaver, an Undertow, Karma's Q, Karma's Tether, or Karma speeding up her own team, as Jackie's girlfriend's house is burning down apparently.
You know, it's somewhat difficult to deal with. I figure that, you know, I always said, if you're going to invest in things, you should get, good internet, a lesson that we all now learn, but also you should probably bolt down your chairs if you're cursed. They keep falling over, people keep falling out of them. I mean, one of these days somebody's going to get hurt. But right now their house is A, getting invaded, B, Jackie's burning it down, and they're kind of lamenting the lack of chef's mints there to keep the house from burning down, as now apparently it's Jackie's girlfriend burning it down, and LOD is making the noise of a siren here. It's you know, really improving the chat as a whole. So some really exciting things to talk about as we do enter this pause.
And, you know, there are really, I'd say, two things that LoL professionals are weak against. One is standard sleep schedules. They will never, ever go to bed before 4 a.m. as far as I'm concerned. Two, microwaves. I do not know why, but anybody who plays LoL at a competitive level will have a lot of trouble handling a microwave without possibly burning down their house.
You know what? Microwaves, they're a danger. They're a threat to mankind, but mostly to gaming houses as a whole. Going to make them an endangered species if they have their way with them. But as we work on getting everybody back into the game, apparently there is a small either fire alarm issue, possibly an alien invasion, if you believe Jaximus. But apparently the invasion may be ending here. Aliens not finding what they're looking for.
It actually might be a fire alarm, which I hope there's no fire. That's my opinion on this. I think it's most people's opinions.
Where is Jacksmith's brand to blame for this when you need it? Going for Ziggs, I mean, there's kind of the same idea there, but not quite as incinerating. That's the best word I could come up with. I don't know.
I'm not sure on the NACL's rules on houses burning down. We'll have to double check that. I think that's somewhere in the rule book.
This is why we have the NACL commissioner, Zach Morbazan K. We can go ask him for the official NACL ruling on whether or not houses burning down is okay. I mean, if we just outlawed that, I feel like we could avoid pauses like this.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're supposed to play it through until the fire reaches the room they're in. And if it's a big room, it has to get like halfway through it first. But it looks like the ready checks are coming out. They're going to play through the fire. I mean, it's okay. They'll have to rush through the game now
They've got
to make
the
sure
new
they don't burn
cursed
down.
fireproof computers that are just going to sustain. I can just see them sitting there in this fireproof suits. Maybe they're like coated in, I don't know, what's something fireproof? Rubber. Yeah. That's shock resistant. I'm getting my resistances mixed up. I think I need to go play more Pokemon.
Obsidian is my anti-fire substance because you pour water on it and it turns to stone, or pour water on lava, it turns into
I'll just
obsidian.
put that on my shopping list. I'll check off the obsidian right up there at the top.
I need a suit made out of fire and water, or lava and water.
And not rubber. That's what we learned here today. But either way, we're going to go ahead and get in onto what is going to be the fourth Baron of the game. There's actually dunks down on a Jackson. He's going to bounce himself right back away. That culling comes out from Fabi. And I don't know, Heaven Time going to be hashtagging that in chat for now as he is the first casualty. A double kill for a Hanser there. Will be backing out for now. Heals himself up, stays alive, but with very low health. Should be somewhat tenuous at re-entering the fight. Clutch heal there from LoLPro that keeps Jackie alive. Fortunately, that heal only targets 2 people and couldn't target my vocal cords, which died halfway through that fight.
It's the aggression. It's a movement forward from Curse Academy. The problem is they move forward. That sets up the Gragas ultimate in response. Because Curse Academy, they're going to be moving forward as a group, as 4 or 5. That sets up Jackie's ultimate. That sets up the crescendo from LOH. And it just sets up so much good initiation. And they can't use the Ziggs kite. They can't use the mines or the bombs because he's going to be immediately in a defensive position, having to run away or just get out of the fight without dying instantly. Now, another dragon, a little bit more gold going towards LoLPro. We saw this last game. It's not a huge advantage, but it feels like LoLPro is slowly once again getting control of the team fights. Just because the way Curse Academy are playing, by playing more aggressively, playing more forward, they're not really using the minefield on Ziggs. I think that's a big thing right now. A minefield, the Hextech minefield on Ziggs is great if you can catch someone into it, like let's say with a Jarvan ultimate, but they don't have that ultimate, and also very importantly, if you use it running forward, they can just kind of run back and most likely won't get hit by many mines. Now, LOD, he's getting scary, man. He's only 2-0-3, doesn't have like a massive score, not that 9-1-8 Ezreal you see every now and then. But with Infinity Edge and it looks like a Last Whisper being finished soon, that's all it takes for Ziggs to deal ridiculous damage.
Oh, one bad Brad getting caught out a little bit ahead of schedule. Not going to get locked up there by that crescendo, but is still going to be running around the back. Nice Mega Inferno Death Bomb there by Ziggs is not really going to be all that scary. Hanser trying to come around the back. He's going to pop the ghost, coming in around from behind. Looking to get 1, 2, 1 more auto attack, and it is going to be the kill. Hanser on a rampage, taking out the jungler. One by Brad going down, and now it's Mundo very low in the back. He's going to try to get in here, but won't be very strong for now. LOD low as well. Jackson's trying to get a bomb to land, can't quite find it out there. As now more bombs to be thrown the way of Jackie. For a team fight, we actually saw only 1 casualty, or I guess it was 1 for 1. Heaven Time did die there as well. So the rule is here, if you're the guy that runs in first, you're probably not going to have a good time, but just the 1 for 1 actually leaves Curse Academy in a pretty good position because now they are going to have a poke advantage. Now, LOD's going to have to watch out for those bombs.
Yeah, unfortunately, Curse Academy can't really make a whole lot happen after that fight. Mundo will farm up top lane, but there were enough members alive, and they could have easily home guard, healed back up, and defend the mid lane, which is where the team fight took place. But that was, like you said, Rapid, that was the defensive fight. Curse Academy did not run forward. They were actually running away from One Bad Brad possibly being caught out. But the problem is, all right, Curse Academy are running, but then the minefield from Ziggs comes into play. Karma's slow is landing defensively, which means she can proc the extra additional slow when it's mantered up. And then, Rux is able to just spam out cleavers, keep people in control. Hanser, when he ran in 1v4, picked up a kill. Hell yeah, that's awesome as Tryndamere. But in the end, when he doesn't have the back of his team when he's not just doing 1 versus 1. That 4v1 fight does not go in his favor.
Something that we need to mention here, I can't go in on any longer without mentioning Fabi's runes, which are 2 crit damage seals, 3 quintessences of lifesteal, and then he's got 7 crit chance seals, and then more crit chance glyphs, crit chance marks, crit chance, more crit chance glyphs. I don't understand how you can get away with that in lane, but Lord Fabi makes it all possible.
You 2v1. There you go. Now you don't have to worry about successful trades because anything is just a bit more RNG. And actually, that's something I do like to see when someone has a bit more riskier of a rune page set up for lane, rotating towards that 2v1 so they can try and benefit into the late game. AD marks are pretty neat, but crit, well, that scales quite well in the late game. Baron is being pinged down by LoLPro, but they're not actually doing it on Curse Academy.
I think he got his runes confused with like Yasuo, and while we won't be seeing that, the nice flag and drag over the wall. Heaventime actually trying to get out away from here. Fabi is going to look to take this one down. A little bit overextension there on the Mega Inferno bomb, but kill nonetheless. One bad Brad's going to try to spin back towards his turret. Snipe from LOD lands the Mega Inferno death rocket bomb culling thing. And there's going to be the culling. Fabi pops the barrier. Is it going to be enough to sustain him? Last tick of Ignite, but no, it's the auto attack. Jinx getting excited, continues through all of this. Now Rux looking to re-engage there. Lands a clear. Okay, misses the cleaver over the wall. LOD will not land onto that. And something I feel like we can't get away from talking about is LOD's Jinx. It's something that in every single game that LoLPro plays in any league is banned away from LOD. A champion that may not see a lot of play from other AD carries, but you'll see it every single game from LOD if you let him play it.
Well, actually, Hyaron looking for the chase. LOH on his own. The slow does. Oh, tether is about to land, but is broken. LOD gonna pick up the kill. One more shot. He gets excited, gets away. And I gotta say, like, that last fight around Baron, Heaventime escaped the enemy team by going into the Baron pit, which that is confusing because, all right, he's going into the enemy team into a pit with a giant purple worm that will attack him for the most part because an axe did land from One Bad Brad, but it set up a really cool team fight and actually set up LOD in the background because One Bad Brad went out to cut off Heaventime, and in doing so actually walked in the rest of LoLPro, and that, guess what? LOD got a bunch of auto attacks off, got excited, and the chase and hunt begun as he was just picking up people left and right. So really interesting play from Heaventime. It was risky, it was dangerous, but it worked out as he was able to go ahead and call the One Bad Brad bluff that he was going to cut him off.
Yeah, and calling that bluff results in another kill. Now 14 kills for LoLPro, but you can just see consistently the turrets are always in favor of Curse Academy. Dr. Mundo top lane 3-0-3 as half the team's kills. Rux is just a monster on that champion. We saw Haunter just demonstrate what it does when you have a huge tank in that front line. Curse now actually, or Rux rather, walking single-handedly right into the middle of LoLPro, gets dunked on, turns on sadism. Is it going to be enough? Gets knocked away. Now the actual disengage as Ragnarok's down there. There's going to be the mantra to inspire. Is now One Bad Brad trying to chain the axes there, and White Jackie getting hit out. Oh my god, yeah, there's the damage to follow up. Cannot run, cannot hide. Jackson want to pick up the kill, taking him down. Another axe to land onto LOD. The culling as well. Shut down. Fabi picks up his 4th kill of the game.
Unfortunately for Heaventime, he got caught out, tried to flag and drag out of there, which would have possibly saved his team, but the issue is the flag didn't go down. He only got the drag part, which did not let him escape, so he cataclysmed to Rux for safety, but that actually set up a Ziggs ultimate, and everything just went downhill from there. The cataclysm did not pay off. Used defensively. The Baron, though, it's being attempted. Can any cleanup happen? It's up to Haunter. He's got to do something now.
Haunter getting in there is going to go throw down the Undying Rage. Keeps him alive for very long, but how long? There's another couple auto attacks from the Light Slinger passive as Fabi picks up another kill.
Can he get
dash into the pit? Cannot quite find it. It's actually Hyorin who takes the Baron down. No deaths there for Curse Academy. They secure the first Baron of the game.
The pace for LoLPro, I mean, it was building up. They had the momentum, but that one fight, that one lost fight, is giving everything to Curtis Academy. They now have the Baron buff. They now have the control. Ruck's going to pick up some big items, have that Mundo regeneration that you love to see with those 25s just popping up left and right, giving them that massive sustain. My chair just ripped and I'm now standing because I didn't want to fall off of it. But this is now Curse Academy's game to take control of. They have the momentum. They're going to lose this dragon, which is fine. But if they can get some good initiation, if now Rux can survive the onslaught from the enemy team, they've got so much they can do.
Yeah, and one of the things that is probably the most important that Curse can do is send Rux wherever he wants. With the Baron buff on a Dr. Muno, we actually saw this in the last game, he's currently sitting at 236 regeneration per 5 seconds. So if he takes damage, it's only going to stick for a short amount of time, with the wars starting to get cleared out. Curse Academy establishing not only domination with that the Baron buff, but also Rux can just walk under a turret and take it down.
Here comes the Haunter. Here comes the spin. There goes the Jaximus.
And there's actually be engaged through the pit, force the flash out from One Bad Brad. Ragnarok can keep him in the fight, though, as Rux now running in. Nice crescendo, will not actually hit all that much. And now LOD coming in from the back has a ton of damage. Rux forced to retreat now. Not sure why he's necessarily running away, but he's body blocking for the rest of the team. In the side lane is actually Haunter, killing absolutely everyone. A triple kill. Can he take down Rux? He's tanky. Is it going to be enough? But the answer is no, and it's actually the ace picked up by Jackie as the Curse Academy. They were pushing in, they had the Baron buff, but just a little bit too little too late. It's a perfect counter engage. LOD, man, in the back, taking everything low, but it's Haunter with the real man mode stepping out, now 9-2-5.
Oh, Curse Academy, they got cocky. They thought they could play aggressively. They went ahead, split push without proper vision coverage, and that let Haunter come in from the side, set up the kill on the Jaximus, set up the kill on the One Bad Brad, and everything fell apart from there by not staying grouped up. By that one moment when they didn't have the ward at the right spot, it set up the split off fight. And you can have a Baron buff. All right, cool. You've got deal a lot of damage. You got a lot of regeneration on your Mundo, but it doesn't matter if it's a 5v2 followed up by a 5v3 immediately after. And now LOD and the rest of the LoLPro crew, guess what? Inhibitor down mid lane. That Baron buff, gone. No regeneration, no extra damage. If they can catch Jackie, who blows back Kjorn and Jaximus, will be A-okay.
Jackie was taking that blue buff. Nobody's going to take that away.
That is his. He demands it. He deserves it if he's blowing an ultimate for it. But that's not a kill for Curse Academy. They can't make anything happen after that. And now it's going to be up to LoLPro just to keep controlling the game.
Absolutely. Now, that started off very well for Curse Academy. They started by stealing away the dragon with Fabi's culling, and they're feeling good off the back of that. They run down the middle lane and run down a little bit too far. As nice from LoLPro, you can see they're not giving anything to Curse Academy for free. They're willing to catch them when they try to make an initiation that's LoLPro knows that they can punish. That's exactly what they did. Turned it right back around. While turrets, while objectives, a lot of just objective control from Curse Academy has been their strength, has kept them into the game. That's starting to even up as now Dragons, Barons, and now is going to be huge Mega Inferno Bomb. Very, very low there from LOD. He's going to have to get out of there. Fabi gets taken out. Haunter just mowing down Curse Academy. There's the Super Mega Death Rocket to come in. It's a double kill for Haunter. He's still in the fight. Rux is trying to single-handedly kill the entire team. There's going to be an Ignite onto LOD, but not enough. It's a quadra kill from Haunter, killing everything in his path. Brad's not going to give him the penta. He is almost back in base, but another huge teamfight win for LoLPro, looking to possibly even close out the game.
I mean, 4 for none. That was spinning. That was winning. I think Haunter and the rest of LoLPro can finish this off. The thing is, they went for LOD. They blew everything on him. Mega Inferno Bomb, the culling, mantra up Q from Kjorn. They could not pick him up. Guess who came in from the side to clean up everything? Haunter, and with the help of Heaven Time, he trapped the rest of the team in that Rage Cage, in that Cataclysm. Now One Bad Brad trying to keep the team alive. Kjorn is back up. Can Curse Academy hold?
Nexus under fire. Fabi's going to respawn. He's still got it, but does he have it enough? There's going to be everybody dying there. LoLPro, please. They can't finish off the Nexus. It barely survives. A Mega Inferno Bomb picks up the counter ace as Jaximus finishes off LoLPro. The game turning around. Can Curse Academy do it? They've got 30 or 40 second death timers as they're pressing down the middle lane. Nothing in their way but minions and turrets. Can they punish LoLPro?
They gotta try. They gotta do it now. I don't think they can finish the game. It'll be close if they do go for it. They can definitely take out this inhibitor, though. The issue is, if they go for the Nexus and they fail, they lose the game. However, with that Nexus at solo HP, Haunter having that mobility, they'll probably lose the game if they don't win it now, or at least apply enough pressure to force LoLPro back into their base. They actually have to worry. They have to run back to base because Super Minions made it past them as they were running towards the inhibitor for LoLPro, and they actually risk losing the game just from that Super Minion reaching the Nexus. So it has gone down.
Game not over just yet. It's 38 minutes in and anything can happen. We've seen Curse Academy get Barons, push in for the win, and then die 2 team fights lost in a row. And then as LoLPro then feel like they may have the game in the bag, push in on for the Nexus, it's just not enough. They get aced at the Nexus, and now barring any Xpeke attempts, we're going to see this game drag on just a little bit longer. And the cool thing to notice is that both teams can win right now. Either way, it's late enough in the game and there's enough damage and enough movement speed that one team wins a team fight, they're going to have an easy trip right down the middle lane straight into their opponent's Nexus. Now, it's going to be a little bit easier for LoLPro because they have only the Nexus left to kill.
Yeah, unfortunately for LoLPro though, Hanser, he can go through walls like a ghost, hell yeah, but he can't make it to the Nexus and kill it right away as the inhibitor has respawn. So that XP, that backdoor, no longer reliable for Hanser if he did decide to go secret agent and sneak in there. So this actually gives a lot of breathing room for Curse Academy. They have the super minion advantage. They have a little bit more push going on. Now, they can't go for anything risky. You know, we've seen teams go for Baron and then in response another team will push. Well, if LoLPro does that, they win the game immediately. And actually, initiation onto Huron.
Oh, there's going to be Hanser spinning in. Oh my
that crescendo.
God. What is that damage? Hanser killing everything. Will spin out of the Cataclysm. That's one bad Brad. Running away gets barreled back into the enemy team. And it's going to be Jackie taking him down. Now Rux and Fabi, the only surviving members of Curse Academy. And LoLPro don't care. Hanser getting assassinated by Fabi in the back. It's a little bit too little too late as now 3 members of LoLPro pushing down the middle lane. Rux is going to try to stop them, but there's only so much you can do. Dr. Mundo, can he take everything up? Law's going to try to take down Fabi. The epic duel of the ages, and it's LOD. Needs to replace the L with a G there as now LoLPro looking to finish off the game.
The gatekeeper couldn't shut the gate. Nexus going down. LoLPro will be advancing 2-0. Looking so good, looking so strong. Hanser with the 14-4-7 Tryndamere, my God.
That's going to be a victory there for LoLPro. Well played, 2-0. The main Curse roster got them to playoffs, but LoLPro is definitely making it happen. And now that is going to do it for our second best of 3 of the night. And we've seen some great games, but both 2-0s moving into tomorrow's games. We're going to see the semifinals as the winners of today's best of 3s now face off against both Coast and Complexity.
Yeah, with LoLPro taking that match, they're going ahead, guaranteeing themselves $4,500 for advancing to the 3rd/4th place position guaranteed. Possibly still have first as an option, of course. And they guarantee themselves $4,500, and unfortunately for Curse Academy, they'll have to walk away with, I believe, $2,750.
Yeah, so still a lot of money in the bank, but winning will not be very easy, as well as probably a few other things. So we'll have to wait for tomorrow to see how those semifinals stack up for the grand finals that will be coming up on Sunday. So there's still a lot of League of Legends action left here as NACL Season 1 draws to a close, but not before we close it out in amazing fashion here with some pretty incredible playoffs.
I mean, I don't know who to put my money on. We've seen Cole do well. We've seen Coast do amazingly well. Every team right now is a viable threat. We have the relegations coming up ASAP. Just every team is now on edge. They need to win. They need to show their strength. TBD is, showing their chutzpah as well. Everybody is just so good right now, Rapid.
You know what? It's looking good going into the semifinals tomorrow. That is going to do it for today's games, though. So as we close things out, do want to give one last and final shout-out to our sponsors. Going to hit up Loot Crate as well, as you guys should probably do that, too. It's a crate full of loot for $13.37 a month. You can go check them out right down below the stream. There's also LOL Chat. You can also hit up that if you're interested in chatting using the League of Legends client from your mobile device. Also do want to thank Philol for sponsoring the NACL playoffs as well. If you're interested in LOL videos aimed at pumping you up as a player as well as your rating, showing you the lighter side of competitive play, you can go check them out on YouTube at the Philol. And don't want to forget, last but not least, Phoenix Peripherals. You can check them out at www.phoenixperipherals.com if you're interested in impeccably crafted gaming. Mice, keyboards, headsets, and mouse pads. They've got it all there for you guys to check out. Also, last and definitely not least, the viewers, if you guys have tuned in at any point during this NACL season, it's our first season out there and coming right out the gate. It's been nice to see some incredible support. So do want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight for day 1 of the NACL Season 1 playoffs. We'll be back tomorrow as the winners of today's games. That's, I think it's...
TBD?
I wanted to say TBD.
Every time.
DTG.
DTG.
And we'll take on Team Coast first off, and then it's going to be LoLPro facing off against Complexity. Some matches you guys don't want to miss. 2 more best of 3s coming up tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed day number 1 of the Season 1 playoffs here at the North American Challenger League. We'll see you tomorrow.